I'm here with Matt Brown. And Matt, today we're focusing on the idea of value, and then hoping to get some success stories out of you because I know a little bit about what CloudLogic does, but I wanted to ask you if you could tell us a little bit about CloudLogic and how they fit in within Ingram Micro.
Yeah, absolutely. I appreciate it, Michael. Yes, so we were acquired by Ingram Micro in July of 2021. We are a professional services consulting firm, and we focus primarily around helping clients adopt and move forward with a cloud strategy model that's best suited for their business, helping them figure out correct placement options for their workloads, helping them migrate and transform their applications to meet business needs, and then performing overall cost optimization inside of their environment. One of the reasons that Ingram liked us, was attracted to us, is our go-to-market has always been through a partner-focused model, which fit very seamlessly into the Ingram ecosystem. And our mantra is actually to work with our partners to understand their portfolio and help them expand that inside of their client base. And a lot of our offers are actually specifically built to help broker the conversations outside of just IT and into the business units for our partners.
Thanks, Matt. Can you just give me an example, a success story, if you will, about how CloudLogic helped a partner create great value?
Yeah, absolutely. So actually, we've got an ongoing opportunity with a partner and one of their clients right now for migrating them out of an on-premise Exchange environment for their email solution into Microsoft 365. And that's actually where we do a lot of work with our partners, is in the Microsoft 365 space. This partner specifically was actually, to be quite honest with you, leaving money on the table. They were looking to just help the client migrate out of Exchange and into Microsoft 365. We actually worked with the partner to help them understand, well, we could broaden that opportunity. Instead of just looking at the Exchange migration, we could look at their file shares to take to SharePoint. We could actually help them take user directories to OneDrive. We could actually help them instantiate a Teams environment and also build upon more of a project management and collaboration platform to transform their business processes. The partner was a bit skeptical at first as we started talking through this, but as we kind of laid out the overall program and showed how all of that works synergistically together, they allowed us to actually have the conversation with the client. We were in a competitive situation with this client, but whenever we actually were able to show the additional value that we could bring to the table, we actually we made it a non-competitive situation for that partner, and we actually expanded the services, the revenue portion of that project from about $20,000 to over $100,000 for that partner as well, just by being able to elevate and expand just the capability, expand the usage of the 365 platform for the client.
Yeah, so I think the story there really resonates. I'm sure Microsoft 365 is a lot of what we run into and what we do, right? And a lot of what partners run into, right? Moving Exchange offsite. I was wondering if you could give me an example where maybe it's just where it's not Microsoft involved and it's something else from the cloud world.
Oh, that's actually a really good point. We actually have another, kind of, we'll stick on the 365 topic for a minute. And I know you asked about non-Microsoft, but we'll get there. We have another partner who's actually a security consulting company and a security product reseller. They work with us to help with a lot of their clients in looking at overall cloud maturity models. They had a client that needed to move to Microsoft 365 because they had antiquated on-premise systems inside of their data center. So as part of working with that client and going through that full-scale Microsoft 365 migration, one of the things we help that client look at is the rest of their overall infrastructure and put a business case in place to potentially move everything outside of the productivity environment, which was the 365 workloads, to AWS. And we actually did a full electronic discovery for the environment, put together economic models and a business case to move that client to AWS. And while we were doing that project, we actually noticed that their security posture wasn't wasn't up to the enterprise level that they wanted it to be, which allowed us to actually take the partner in that situation, who was a security consulting firm, and engage them and actually let that partner bring that client underneath their SOC services as well. So we expanded into a multi-cloud scenario with this partner for this client, as well as resold some of their strategic services into the account. And actually, one more point on that one. In the midst of that partner got acquired by another company that was about 10 times the size of that client. As part of the work we were already doing for that client, the new parent company has now asked us to go do the same level of work for them as well. So we've expanded not just the services that partner could actually offer, but also their client base.
Hey, that's a great story. What really strikes me about it, and maybe the other story too, was, it really appears to me like you're on the side of a customer, right? So you don't have a preset, I do this, I do this, other than the do this is helping the customer find the right fit. And essentially, it sounds more than anybody else, it sounds like you're on the side of the customer, trying to get them to the best place.
Yeah, that's a really good point, Michael. So one of the things that two things I'll kind of point out there. One, we are agnostic whenever it comes to the technology in the cloud. We are partnered and certified with Azure, AWS, GCP, VMware, all of your major cloud providers. But we are agnostic, and to your point, our goal is to help the client understand what the possibilities are for them and help them choose the right hosting model that makes the most sense for their business. Now, on the other side of that, we also work with each one of our partners to fully understand what their portfolio, where their strengths and capabilities are, so that we also can position them to expand and grow inside of their partnerships as well. We've got a few other partners we work with that actually do have some very good technical capabilities in the cloud in the cloud presence. What we do with those partners is most of them, while they're really good at actually setting up architectures, maybe doing migrations, doing tuning and stuff inside of the cloud environment, helping clients make those strategic decisions about where workloads should be placed, understanding the business value that they're looking to achieve from that. That's actually where we help focus those partners, so that we can actually help those clients make those strategic decisions that then sets up that execution and tactical work that the partners are really good at.
So one other thing that I'd like to bring up is VMware. So VMware, it's interesting, right? You have a lot of experience with the hyperscalers and the cloud, right? VMware is also popular within the data center, and that's really one of the major things I know that you guys work on. Can you tell me a little bit about a VMware success story, maybe what keeps people on VMware, whether it's in the data center or moving it up to the cloud?
That's a great question. We actually do a lot of work within VMware's cloud. So VMC on AWS, VMware, Azure VMware Solutions, AVS, and those things like that. We have several clients who are looking to potentially get out of their data center, or they've got a portion of their ESXi farm, their VMware environment that's up for refresh, and they're not quite ready, to your point, to make that leap fully into the cloud, but they don't want to. They're ready to start inching toward it, and they're not looking to continue to move forward with capital purchases inside of their data center. One really great use case is to leverage VMC Cloud on AWS or Azure infrastructure, and you can manage those instances just like you do a normal VMware environment today through your vSphere console. And we've shown a lot of client success of being able to slowly adopt VMC in AWS or Azure by refreshing out of their current data center into the cloud that way, and then doing iterative transformation into some cloud native services from there. The point to that, to your point earlier, a lot of partners are really, really good in that side of that VMware space, and it's a natural fit for them to be able to come in and take over those technical skills to help clients set those VMware environments up in the cloud.
So Matt, a question just about skill sets, whether it's of the end user or of the partner, and how much of the skill set that each of those has affects the decision that you help them make, or the guidance that you would give them on where to go with their solution.
That's a good question. Sometimes it does, but one of the things that that we do in our cloud enablement offering, which is really just helping clients set up a cloud strategy, is understanding their organizational capabilities and where their skill sets lie. And what that's going to do is that's going to let us form solution patterns for cloud services that are not a far stretch from what they're currently operating and maintaining today. So that's one aspect of it. The other aspect of it is the primary cloud providers, Azure, GCP, and AWS, have some phenomenal training programs that and funding programs that actually help clients get up to speed and upskill into that environment. But another thing that we utilize quite heavily, and a lot of our partners have an MSP component, and that becomes a very, very useful tool with clients who are looking to move to the cloud. But that upskill necessary for their team to actually maintain and manage that environment is just too much of a shift. being able to leverage an MSP that has those capabilities, even if it's for a temporary solution, becomes extremely advantageous in those situations.
So Matt, maybe just for me, if you can go over, Ingram Micro has a cloud division, and now we've acquired CloudLogic, right? And you and your team. So if you can just go over with me, maybe where IM Cloud begins and ends, and how CloudLogic might work with them.
Yeah, so it's actually interesting. We do a lot of things together. We are actually working hand in hand on several opportunities right now within Azure to build data platforms for clients. We're also leveraging whenever as we have go to market and we have things around assessments for cloud environments. We'll jointly both co-sell and deliver those. So right now, I'd say the lines are not really blurred. We're actually working very collaboratively together. And trying to upskill both what the IS team does really well for us to be able to sell to clients and partners, and as well, and also show them what we do really well, so that we actually become one team to sell to provide that solution to the partners.
All right, last question. If you just had to give one piece of advice to a partner, what's your best advice that you would give?
Ooh, that's a good one. I would say the biggest one is be creative. Don't always think in terms of just a traditional IT solution for problems. And I'll give a couple examples. One very specifically is file share migrations. We see a lot of clients and a lot of partners whenever a client says, you know what, my file share, my Isilon array is getting full. And they say, okay, let me resell an Isilon array, right? And that's really good if it's what the client needs, and we'll be the first one to tell clients to continue to invest in their on-premise infrastructure. But what a lot of partners and clients don't realize is that a significant portion of that data on a lot of those object storage arrays are things that could be moved very easily to your M365 environment, and it's actually already part of the SKU that they're probably paying for with their 365 environment. So be creative with those solutions, because what we can look at there is actually selling a professional services engagement, expanding your reach out of just infrastructure and into the business, and then starting to look at very strategic opportunities to help that client grow and mature in the cloud.